Mixtape here on KSQ's 89.5 FM Ashland, Oregon, 94.1 FM Medford, Oregon. Stream online on kskq.org. It's the boy, it's the Don DJ Ramo. I am absolutely freaking honored. All right. So this is a special moment because I'm 35 years old. My very first show ever was Ozfest 2004. It's the first introduction that I ever got into metal. I didn't know what mosh pits were. I didn't know what putting your horns up were. I didn't know anything. And God forbid, just happened to be one of the bands on that bill, dude, with a lot of my other favorite bands. To me, as a 35-year-old man, that's like that's my golden era of wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The God forbids, the As I Lay Dying, the It Dies Today, the Triviums, the All That Remains, that whole era was just so beautiful, man. And to be able to talk to the one and only Byron Davis, it's an honor, man. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. You know, it means a
Dude,
lot to know that we broke your cherry.
dude, you totally did. Actually, I'm Mexican, so you popped my hot sauce, dude.
Oh, cool on, man. Cool on.
No, dude, but dude, it's insane that like how it's been literally 21 years since that moment.
Yeah.
You know, I remember first getting into you guys in that whole era of music. And last night, I watched your guys' mini documentary before you guys' first show after you guys got Nick in there, dude. And oh man, it's mind blowing. Was coming back to, like, I watched your documentary and you explained, you know, coming back to it after a long time. But when you played that first show, did it feel like you just never left?
I mean, parts of it did and parts of it didn't. Like, there was a lot of angst going into it, just getting excited and everything. And then we finally get there. It was still exciting, but it was raining. So it made it a little bit feel treacherous because, like, the stage was wet. So it's like you couldn't really, like, I was nervous about trying to go balls out with the wet stage, you know what I'm saying? Slipping and sliding, what have you, being the first time back after so long. So I kind of just took it easily and just, you know, just trying to make the most of it, you know, and it was a good time, man. It was cool.
So, you know, after you know, you've had an illustrious career, dude. Been on many stages, traveled the whole world. Now, you know, like, I'm in my older age, you're in your older age, we're all older, we're all like we're adults. We're passing that next torch, man. Do you ever look back on your career and go like, man, like you know, like you were saying, like, God forbid made a huge impact on a lot of guitar players, on a lot of vocalists, on a lot of bands who grew up in that era. Do you ever look back on it and kind of mind blown that like you were a part of something pretty special?
I do. Like, sometimes I kind of feel like it just flew by. You know what I mean? Like, it was here today and gone tomorrow. But, like, at the same token, like, that being said, like, just having people that I know that are still, like, in the industry that, like, tech or whatever, or just started teching, like, they'll run across someone in a band that, like, you know, because basically for me, like, everyone that was a crew was like family. So I treat them like family. So, like, those dudes have moved on, and then they end up being in bands where, you know, they end up working with people that they met me when they were little kids, and now they're in bands. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to blow anyone's spot up, but, like, yeah, there's been a few instances of that where they're now in bands, and it's cool to see, man. You know what I mean? I'm happy for dudes. You know, I'm happy that, you know, in a time where there was minimal Black people, you know, we were able to make a statement. Like, it sounds crazy for me to say that, you know, but like I can't really stress how much times have changed from then, you know what I mean? And how metal has evolved into more of a mainstream thing than actually an underground thing, which is cool all around, you know, as long as everybody is getting their fair due and just. But yeah, the musical landscape is definitely different now than it was back then.
No, I totally agree. One of the things I want to talk about, you talked about in your documentary, you talked about how how like back when you guys were younger, you were almost chasing like some goose egg. And I know when people are like trying to chase that goat or trying to chase that high, it always it puts stress on the band because like people the industry is evolving. The way we, you know, like you were talking about, now there's TikTok, YouTube, all over, like even amplified Instagram. It's like you almost have to be a content creator to even be a musician nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now, and I heard in the documentary, now you guys are able to enjoy it more because you guys got to step back, and now you got to see come back to it and have fun. You know, but was that a pretty? Are you guys still trying to like release new albums and trying to push as hard as you can, or
I,
are you just trying to just have the best time in your life that you can with your
well, I
friends?
mean, that's a loaded question, man.
I know.
You
I'm
know,
sorry. I'm sorry.
no, I mean it's a loaded question because there's so many different aspects to answer
Yeah.
that question. You know, it's like, yeah, it was liberating to come back, you know, and do that Blue Ridge show because I mean, at this
Yep.
point, we have nothing to really prove. You know what I mean? It's like we
You
do
don't.
have
Hall
something
of
to
Famer.
prove. Well, I mean, we do have something to prove. We still have to prove that we can get up there and knock the shit out the ballpark. But it's not like the future of the band is like, all right, well, you gotta get these many people to love the band. You gotta sell these amount of units so you can get the next tour. So it's
Yeah.
like on that aspect of it, it is freeing to just be up there and be able to play. But that being said, the thing that you gotta kind of try and stay away from or try to avoid is all the mistakes that you made back then, trying to
Mm.
jump back into it now. Like you have to think about it with a different mind frame. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, these songs are cool and everything, but these songs are 20 years old. And the way you would approach something 20 years ago doesn't necessarily is not the way that you would approach it now. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So you have to you kind of got to switch it up. You know, you got to make it interesting because like you got to think about like this too. For most of these kids out here nowadays, like this music was out before they were even born.
Yeah.
So you know, like with that in mind, you kind of gotta. They're getting ooh and awed by all these newer bands, so you kind of gotta bring a new flair to be like, yo, I might be older or whatever, but I'm still relevant and I can still do this, and we can still chop it up like the rest of them. So in that sense, you know, it's just about having fun at the end of the day. But you know, when we put it down is because we were chasing the goose egg. You know what I mean? And it's just like the harder you chase for it, the more stress it became trying to either level out or move ahead, but never fall back.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, and everybody was tied to the band as a financial, you know, a financial means, and
Yeah.
that's not the case. So it definitely allows it to be a lot more fun and a lot less stressful. But again, it's all about not putting yourself in those same type of stressful situations that you did previously.
Amen, dude. Dude, I got to clip that right there because I think that's an important lesson that you can teach anybody. You know, just trying to learn from their mistakes in music or revisiting it and trying to have like a more better outlook on it, dude. And I watched that Blue Ridge show, dude, and you guys absolutely fucking crushed. Like you guys never left, dude, and it's really cool to see you guys back. You know, you were talking about how there's this new age of metal, no, right now for me, like my favorite bands, like all my new favorite bands albums, they're all 20 years plus, you
Yeah,
know? And now these kids are getting into these bands where like dude, like, I have kids, you know what I mean? Like I'm my metalcore is now
yeah,
dadcore. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like you coming back to Blue Ridge and playing, was there a band, a newer band live that surprised you? That you're like, dude, these boys can crush it, or these girls that like because what's crazy is that like when I was younger, Metallica and everybody was like in their 40s or
Yeah,
and now it's like the passing of the guard where now like metalcore is almost passing the guard,
yeah.
and what Thrash already did, like what, yeah, sorry I ran off, but what is one of your
It's
new
all
favorite
good.
bands that you saw?
I mean, honestly, like for like after the band dissolved, like I stopped listening to music for a good while, man, like a long time.
Okay.
And I was getting offers from dudes, you know, to do side projects, but I was like, yo, I was like, to be honest with you, man, like I really can't get involved because I need to chase this bag. Like I knew I was gonna be a expectant father, and I didn't really have. I had life experience, but I needed to have like a rounded life in order to make sure that I could provide for my kid. So for me, it made more sense to just go back to school, you know, get myself into the workforce. So I basically spent the last 10 years like building myself up as a grown up, so to speak, you know what I mean? And being able to take care of my family. And during that time, like I would still go to shows when buddies would come to town or whatever. But my kid, like his favorite freaking band is Corn. You know what I mean? He was up here singing like Black is the Sun and what have you. Like he loves Corn, he loves Typo Negative, so he's and he loves classical music, so he's well rounded in that aspect. But for me, like one day, man, I was just rolling around on Instagram and I seen this video clip of Slaughter to Prevail when they were in, I guess, Russia, and he started jumping and shit. And I was like, oh, like when I heard it, it like dudes that know me that I know that I can just like watch a band or whatever, and like like it could be like blowing my mind, be like, yo, that's cool. But when I get the facial expression, they know I really love that shit because it's like, yo, like you know what I mean, like because I got the smoothest poker face whatsoever. But when I see that shit, I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. And then after that, I started slowly reintroducing myself into music and just seeing everything that was going around. So that started, and then I started catching my boy Pat from Fit for an Autopsy. He came up in the scene with us, and now I see what he's doing with his band now, and it's like, yo, this shit is crazy, and it's fucking amazing. And then after that, like I wasn't really into Spirit Box until I watched a YouTube of someone critiquing her in the studio, going from one vocal range to another, not realizing that she was in I Wrestled a Bear once. And I heard that name from way back in the day and not really realizing what they were, what have you. Like I heard a lot of bands that were around at that point, but like I was more involved in what we were doing and what our contemporaries were at the time, just trying to make sure that we could kind of cement ourselves at a place, because we were chasing it, man. We were chasing it. We came up through the hardcore scene, and it was like we fell on the sword of what someone told us a long time ago. It's like, get out there, tour, and that works when you're younger and you're living in your parents' basement. But as you get older, like that shit doesn't work. Like I can remember going out on tours and getting paid $100, as the opening band, like, and that shit can't last, and especially when we did one of our tours during the height of freaking the fuel crisis back in like 07, 08. You know what I mean? Like those times hurt when you got like $5 a gallon, it's like, holy shit, and you're not really pulling in what you're pulling. And then you have people that work for you on the business side that aren't pulling their weight, and they're just allowing you to do anything. And, sometimes you just got to say no when it comes to shows. Like you just can't say yes to everything. You got to be picky and choosy. You know what I mean? And that's what maintains your value. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it sucks to say that, but like if you're used to going out for X and then you decide, well, I'm gonna go out for X minus whatever, and then do that, then the next promoter's like, well, we can get them for this because they did this already once. So they're willing to like drop what they feel they're worth. And you can't gain ground like that. But the thing is that I've noticed with these younger bands, like they're just fucking going hard, and they're saying no when they need to. You know what I mean? And they're proud of themselves, and I'm proud for them because they're actually, pioneering the way. It's just get in while you can, man, and just make sure your shit stays top game. You know what I mean? Like I ain't mad at nobody. If you can make it work for your crew and take care of everyone that you care about, then so be it. Do what you got to do. You know what I mean? But like, it needs to be fun. If it ain't no fun, it ain't worth doing it.
Dude, I'm 100% with you. That was a great answer, man. I loved all that. And huge high props, dude, on stepping back to take care of your family, dude. Because that was a thing for me too, dude. Is that like, I do journalism, but I'm also a YouTuber. I book festivals. I'm a musician. I have a full-time career. I'm a data coordinator at a company. You know what I mean? I do all these things, and I got burnt out to the point where I was spending so much time doing music that it was hurting my family financially. And my son, he's still only 5 years old, but like I was having to pay for a babysitter so I could like make sure these dreams are coming true, and my son was getting the shit in, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I was like, man, is it really worth it to just make a bunch of grown ass men happy so I could struggle buying diapers?
No, it's not.
No.
I mean? It's like at the end of the day, like for me, like I always wanted a family. So like I kind of waited. I waited a little bit later in life because, it was about chasing the dream. You know,
Yeah.
now if I had caught that dream sooner, then I probably would have had a kid sooner. But the dream, the harder I chased it, the further it went away. And it was like I made a couple of life choice decisions that like I regretted. And like I didn't want to fuck this one up. So
Yeah.
I just focused in on what was important. Like I love the dudes in my band, don't get me wrong, but like at the end of the day, we're five different individuals with five different personalities who see the world five different ways. And my way wasn't necessarily the way of others, but I devoted so much time to them that it was time for me to devote time for myself and for my personal goals that I wanted. So, when the band dissolved, it was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just focus in on me. And that's what I did and just went back to school, ended up getting a career. I've always been a tradesman by
Hmm.
heart. And like when I was in school as a kid, I worked on cars, you know what I mean? And then I stepped out of cars and I started doing the music thing. And then I just went back into the field of trades. Got a job in HVAC. So like I just need to know and make sure that my personal well-being is always looked after. So the only one who's going to do that is me. So I take care of what's important to me and mine's first. And my kid wants to pursue music, and I want him to do whatever he wants to do with his life. But that being said, this day and age, with the way that the industry is, you need something. I know people say, yo, never have a backup, but fuck that, yo. You need to have a backup plan because everybody out here under the sun wants to be a musician, and there's not room for everybody. So you need to be super talented and have all the parts that you need for that shit to really happen in this day and age and be able to monetize off it in any way whatsoever. Like people out here trying to chase viral and shit. Like, yo, dude, you can't chase that shit. And if you chase it, it's going to be noticeable that it's a chased feeling. Like viral should be something that's just organically happening. That's what real music is. It organically touches you. So once you start trying to chase these trends, man, and you putting a timestamp and a limit on what the possibilities for you to do are. So, it's got to come from the heart. You got to feel it. You got to want it. You know what I mean? You got to be willing to, get up in them trenches, man, try and make it happen. And if it
Yeah.
doesn't happen, just don't, like, you can give up or you can just reassess and try and figure out a different way to make it happen. But like, you just got to be a realist. At some point, you
Yeah.
just got to be a realist. You know what I mean? When we were younger and I would see these older bands and I'd see dudes struggling, I was like, yo, I never want to be in that type of situation. You know what I mean? So I refuse to put myself in that type of situation now at this point in my life. After seeing what I've seen, doing what I've done, and then like even if I never blow up, I know just from what people have said to me that like I've had an impact on someone who has blown up. So that makes me happy in itself because, like I said, when we were coming up, we didn't really, me, my drummer, we didn't necessarily have that many role models to look up to for what we were trying to do musically. So, to be one of those cats now and see how far it's come for everybody of every ethnic background, it's awesome. You know what I mean? So, it's cool.
I did. No, I 100% with you, dude. I got two more questions left to ask you. Um, so it's been a while since you guys have been on stage, and there's been a huge shift in like how people are so opinionated about music nowadays. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It almost how it's gotten to the point where like even today, like I'm a huge sports person.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about how like sports shows are dictating like coach jobs and players getting drafted in certain spots. And now with social media, dude, you got 1,000 platforms either saying good stuff or they're talking shit. You have people left and right getting canceled for having a wrong political opinion or not steering the right way, or you
Mm-hmm.
not being mad at somebody. Like what's your take on metal nowadays? Because back in the day, dude, you used to have to buy Guitar World, Hit Parader, Metal Hammer magazines. That's completely changed now, dude. Everybody online could have their own opinion. What's your take on metal now? Because it's like, yeah, with the internet and social media, we could promote bands a lot more, and there
Yeah.
is a lot more bands to see, which some people say the market is a little saturated, but also there's huge benefits. But what do you think about overall the state of heavy metal with like the new social media trends?
I just think that at the end of the day, you shouldn't necessarily judge the person as much as you should judge the music. I think like it's cool for musicians to have opinions. Like everyone should have an opinion. You know what I mean? But if you do have an opinion, you should stand on it. Don't be a flip flopper when it comes to your opinion. Like, like I get like people are getting canceled, but you know what I mean? People fuck up. And if people honestly make mistakes and they genuinely feel bad about the mistakes they made, like if they say I'm sorry, then by all means give them another chance. You know what I mean? Until they do something else. And then that's when you get the chance to fucking step on a motherfucker. But I mean, I don't know, man, because the world is such a
That's
crazy
loaded.
place. Like there's things that are happening right now that I never would have thought would happen when I was, young kid. Like when I was
Yeah.
20, like the things I've seen, like it is really hard, man. I mean, because no two people in this world are the same. You know what I mean? Everybody has different life experiences, but at the end of the day, I think when it comes to the music, I think that should really shine brighter than the actual musician. You know what I
Mm.
mean? But at that being said, though, like you just gotta fall in line with people that are like minded. Like the metal scene is not what it used to be. It's totally different now. But I mean, that's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just everything's evolving. So I mean, you just gotta find the like minded people like you within the scene and then kind of combine forces and just try and like my philosophy has always been, man, treat people the way you want to be treated. And that's the best way to sum that up, man. If someone's an asshole, then there might be reasons why they're an asshole, but like as long as you're not an asshole to me, then I'm not going to treat you like the asshole. But when you start acting the asshole, then you get treated like the asshole. So I mean,
Facts.
that's what it should basically boil down to. But I wish we could go back to the days of just the radio. You know what I mean? Like where you didn't know what the musician looked like. It was just the music on the radio. And, for as good as the new social media is, I think that it's a problem in itself because it puts everybody not necessarily on Front Street, but it just like there's no mystique anymore to the music. So now you have these bands that, like prime example is like what's that? Sleep Token. Like I didn't know who the fuck they were. And then one day, like I was just sitting and then Take Me Back to Eden came on, you know, Spotify. And I was like, I literally just sat and listened to the music, like, oh shit. And then I saw the video and then I saw the live. And like I don't the best way to say it is the longevity of a band is based off of their live performance. If they're able to come across anywhere near or close to what their record sounds, then that's genuineness, so to speak. Like, I don't know, I'm using fucked up words, but I do that.
No, I get it. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, so, but no one knows who they are. So they created a mystique in a world full of, everybody having to show what they did today and yesterday. And, not necessarily begging people, but begging people to do this and do that for you. And it's just like, yo, if you like what you hear, pick it up. If you don't. You know what I mean? It's like at this point, I just kind of feel like music has just become fucking just like background noise. You know what I mean? Because it's everywhere you go, but like no one owns anything physical. Like you need the physical product is what says that people love what you're doing or not. You can't base it off of streams because, streaming is streaming. Like, but to have the physical CD, to have the record, to have the band shirt, you know what I mean? Like whatever, like supporting the bands in that fashion speaks volumes as opposed to what streams are. Cause, in the digital age, you have these digital products that help. Hey, you want 2,000 new fans here, pay $15, whatever. You know what I mean? People buying bots or whatever to, you know what I mean? To boost their freaking, I don't know, it's all in the algorithms and all that nonsense, man, which like sounds cool if you're into that type of thing, but it's like, yo, that ain't having those good analytics ain't gonna help you if you're trying to get into a concert hall and play and there's like 10 people there.
Yeah, facts. No,
So I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about supporting the physical band in a live performance area.
I love it. I love it. Last question here, dude. So I know when a band reunites, sometimes people get excited because when they hear, "Oh shit, God forbids back," then these offers come back from, these offers come from all these festivals and all these shows, and can you do this and that?
Yeah.
What, did you guys have a plan to be like, all right, guys, let's not get overexcited. Like, remember remember that like we've all kind of grown up and have taken different paths in our lives. Like, let's not get overexcited and keep it like leveled and neutral. Did you guys have a conversation like that? Because knowing that, God forbid, was going to get a lot of attention.
We've had an initial conversation like that, and I'm trying to bring back those conversations. Uh, you know, again, we all live separate lives. You know, two members have like full functioning families. So, like if we're going to do something, it has to make sense. Unfortunately, we're not at a stage where, we have a stockpile of money to make these things happen. So we have to be fiscally responsible every time we decide to do this to see if it financially makes sense to do it. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a band that dissolved and everybody still lives in the same area. We're scattered across the US now. So all that comes into play, but I mean, as long as people really want to come see us, like I'm more than happy to get out there. But again, it has to make sense. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm not going to jeopardize the future of my personal that I had to I had to rebuild. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't expect anyone or know that anyone else in the band to do the same for themselves. Like, we have to be smart about it and it needs to make sense. And I think that, until we get new music, anything more is just playing. It's not really playing ourselves out. It's just, dude, I want new music. The dudes in the band want new music. I'd rather spend the time writing music than playing shows at this point, to be honest. I want to get out there and have something new. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we have a couple B-sides that no one's ever heard, but I want to have new current music. You know what I mean?
I feel it.
So, I mean, we'll see what happens. Like, everyone has, schedules. So, and then God forbid is not one of those bands that just throws anything together. Like, when we write, we take our time and we write. Luckily for us, everyone is in our band is about integrity. So they're not just going to throw out some slop. So, it's going to have to go through the gauntlet a couple times before parts get cemented as the parts. And then from there, then we'll put it together, run some demos. I already started speaking to my man that produced a lot of the material that we did on the vocal tip. So when we do some material, it's gonna be like a record worthy of being called a God forbid record. It's not just gonna be thrown together. So if it takes a little bit longer, it's worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't, nah, man. We can't be coming in with that bullshit. You know what I mean? That we got to stamp it with the God forbid. You know what I mean? It can't be less than. It's got to be greater than.
Dude, I love it.
We got a back catalog that it needs to stands the test of time, and the new shit needs to stand the test of time as well. So that's how we go into the writing process.
I love it. Byron, thank you so much for taking time to talk in the Metal Mixtape today, dude. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm gonna ask you 3 super fast questions. So just knock them out super quick.
All right.
They're super fast. All right. In a zombie apocalypse, you can pick one weapon and destroy the zombie horde, but it can't be the nuke or the cure. What is your one weapon?
My AR-15.
I like it. All right. If you could choose your death, but it had to be by a villain in a horror movie, who would you choose to kill you, and how would they do it?
I would get Shang Tsung. Have him take my soul.
I like it. I like it. What was your first reaction when you listened to Doc playing with Bad Wolves? and them doing that Dolores cover with Cranberries, like
Honestly,
what? Yeah,
yo, I would like. I know Doc. I know Tommy. I know Birkland. Very well. I begun to learn the other guys. So at first, when I heard it, I was kind of like I was just like, wow, like yo, dude, it shocked me. I don't know, man. Like, I there's there's so much I could say, but like, and it's positive and it's a little negative. I think it was cool. I was surprised. I didn't know that they had like writing. I didn't know they had writing stripes like that, or you know what I mean. Like I know what we've done writing together, but when I heard that, it was like a whole other level that I wasn't really prepared for.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was just like, damn, like, oh shit, like all this time, like, like I don't know, dude. Like it's just like, wow, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
then all the stuff that fell down when things went bad, and it was like, all right, it kind of makes sense. But all those dudes are still talented, you know what I mean? It just shows how twisted the music industry is.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I really learned. Like, it doesn't matter who you are or what you do, but if you got them pieces in your back corner, anything is possible. Like
Okay.
there's that one dude that I think the he's from one of those Swedish countries like Amsterdam or
Yeah.
the Netherlands, or whatever. The dude that writes all the pop songs.
Ed Sheeran.
No, not Ed Sheeran. This is like a dude, like he's got black hair. Like he's like, I think he's from like Sweden or something, but he's
Yeah, I
like a
can.
producer. But he's written songs for like mad industry people. It's just basically like, dude, I'm probably getting in trouble with this, but fuck it. I don't care. This is the truth. Yo, I didn't realize that for all the songs that you love out there, they're basically written by 5 to 10 different people.
Yeah.
And honestly, at this point in the game, I just kind of feel like underground music is the purest form of music because it's written by all parties involved and not exterior parties on top
Amen.
of it. So, I mean, some people are going to take it how they want to take it, but that's just how I feel. Like, I never really realized that, like, pop stars are more formulated than actual being pop stars. You know what I mean? And I guess that comes from, not really having A&R anymore, because they would, like, the olden days, they would, people would come into themselves over time, you know what I mean? But now people are just coming out straight manufactured, cookie cutter, sounding like the next motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like before it was individuals. Now it's just carbon copies of everything else.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. There's a lot of that.
and
For sure.
that's kind of like the sad part. And if some of you people within that carbon copy world, yo, it is what it is. Like you've found the golden goose and the golden egg and the golden ticket. So ride that shit all you can. But like me personally, I'm not gonna fucking sacrifice my own personal beliefs to get on no gravy train like that. So I mean, it is what it is. And anyone that could get out there and perform on any level in front of any amount of people, I think should be commended because it takes a lot to write something and get out there and express yourself, especially in this day and age where everybody's trying to cancel a motherfucker left and right because they don't believe in what they believe in. So, I mean, music, unfortunately, is what it is, but like you as an individual can determine and figure out what speaks to you and what doesn't. So you can always find what makes you happy with music. That's the one thing I love about music.
I love it. Byron, thank you so much for being on the Metal Mixtape. I truly appreciate it, dude. Have a great time with your family, with your son. Last but not least, can you say this is Byron Davis and you are listening to the Metal Mixtape?
All right. Yo, we're on the Metal Mixtape, and this is me, Byron D from God Forbid, the one and only. We'll see you soon out there, yo. Keep your ears peeled for what's coming in the future.
Fuck yeah, dude. Thank you so much, dude. Like I said, dude, from a father to father, you took time out of your day. I'm at a rest stop about to pick up my son from my baby mama, and then
Right on.
and then I have to drive an hour home.
Well, just get that coffee, man. You know, keep it going. Stay
All
focused.
right, dude.
It's all about the
Uh,
kids, man. The future is the kids.
all right, dude. I'm next time I go to a God forbid show, you're gonna see me front row. I'll talk to you later, brother.
All right, man. Sounds good. Later.
Late.